Hi guys, welcome back to an episode of Tribecar itself, and today's episode I'll be reviewing the Tribecar Toyota Sienta. So let's dive straight to this video right now. Alright then, before I dive straight to showing you guys the damages for the Sienta itself, I just want to share you guys some backstory to the Toyota Sienta itself. Basically, if you guys didn't know the first generation Toyota Sienta, which I will have a picture right about here, and the next generation Sienta, which is the one I'm driving in this video itself, will be right here. So yeah, as you guys can see, the Sienta doesn't really, I feel the shape doesn't really carries on from the first generation Sienta to the second generation Sienta. The third generation, which is now available on the road, which is right, I'll put a picture right here. That you can see they carry the lines or basically the body of the first generation Sienta onto the third generation. The second generation, I don't really feel that it really carries it, but no, that's not the main point. Main point I want to say is if you guys are watching this video right now, basically the Sienta that I'm driving, if I'm not wrong, that should be the first generation Sienta that Toyota released itself before doing a small facelift to it, which is right here. I'll use a photo right here. That is the second generation, right, Sienta. If I'm not wrong, that should be the generation where they move the gear lever up to towards the dashboard itself, where it's much more easier to reach for the driver itself, compared to the first generation, where if you guys saw the video later on in the clip, it's right down in the center console itself. For the third generation itself, which I have a photo of it, I also put right here itself. So basically, from the first facelift to the second facelift itself, you can see from the second facelift to the third facelift, the interior, I think there's no changes itself. The only changes itself is the outside of the car that really did some changes itself. But if you want to talk about the big major changes, I would say it will be when it's first announced to the first facelift, which is the one which I'll show you guys that Alright then, yeah, before I show you guys the interior of the car itself and also the trunk space, let me just show you guys the outside for this car itself. For this car itself, luckily there isn't any damages that I'm seeing at the moment itself, so yeah, that's a very very good thing. Plus, this car, as of what I'm filming, currently, as of what I'm renting, it has 80,000 kilometers under its belt. So yeah, other than that, really not much to talk about, other than there's no damage for this car, which is very good, and also the fuel tank is on the left hand side itself. So yeah, other than that, now I'll be showing you guys the trunk space for the Sienta itself. So basically, to access the trunk space, you just need to press on this button right down below the emblem itself, and yeah. So yeah, unfortunately the tailgate sorry, unfortunately for the rear tailgate, it's electronics, it is manually, you have to pull it out manually itself, so hence it might be quite heavy itself. So yeah, but basically, I'm not too sure if you guys can see this, but yeah, basically this is the trunk space for the Sienta itself. There's not really much trunk space for this car itself, so yeah, that's the downside. I'm not too sure whether this is the same for the facelifted model, which you guys didn't know, Toyota actually did a facelift version for their Sienta, so hence I think the facelifted one could be different, or I could be wrong. So yeah, but there's also some changes to the facelifted one, which I'll show you guys later on. But other than that, this is what you get for the rear space itself. So yeah, you got additional 2 seats in the third row itself, and also some other miscellaneous junk right here itself. So yeah, and then I'll be showing you guys how to to pull up the rear, how to have the third row seating available for you guys if you, let's say, you want to have 2 additional passengers in the car itself. So let me just do it off camera right here. I'll show you guys in a moment. So here it is. This is basically how the car look like when he has this third row seat back on, or when you decide to, let's say, if you intend to maybe carry 2 additional passengers. This is what it looks like. So basically, the way to do it is just need to pull on this lever right here, and you can either pull from the headrest up, or you just push down to have more cargo space itself. I'll show you guys in a moment once I get into the car itself, how the legroom space is for the car, Sienta itself. So close the trunk back down is very simple, which is just need to pull this down, and it just close just like that. Alright then, now let's move on to the next bit, which is the rear seat. So the second row seat, if you let's say you do not want to use the third row seat itself. So To enter, you just need to pull on this, and it's basically electronic sliding door. So hence the sliding door will open, and you can just climb right in itself. So yeah, I just turn on the light for the time being because quite dark and it's raining. So yeah, this is my driving position right here. So yeah, not too much leg room. I got a small amount of leg room left, maybe a fish left. Yeah, fish space left. Headroom is not too bad because you got this AC vent right in the rear. For the facelifted one, I think they decided to remove it because I think it's I don't think it's necessary. I don't know why they decided to remove it for the facelifted version, but for the non-facelifted version, which I'm the one I'm in at the moment, it has this rear AC vent, which is quite interesting because I think this hum right here is, as you guys can see, is I think it's the air conditioning unit for the second and third row seating itself. So yeah, headroom is very spacious because I got tons of headroom wise because this is an MPV itself. So yeah, and then let me just show. Oh yeah, you got AC controls right here to adjust the AC itself. So basically just adjust the fan speed itself. You can't control the temperature in the for the car, unfortunately, for the rear itself. You got light switch right here, which I showed you guys just now. So yeah, I'll probably show you in the middle if the doors are open, but for the time being, I'll just turn it on because it's quite dark and I'm showing you guys the car itself. So yeah, the thing is not that bad because it's a sliding door. So yeah. Alright then, now let me just show you guys how to get into the rear seat itself. So basically just pull this, which will drop down. This will fold up itself, and you can just step right into the back of the car itself and sit on it. One thing you do have to take note of this is this semi-half floating headrest right here, which is quite weird. That's not really a bit weird, I'm not too sure why. But once you're in, I can imagine once if you were to have a third row seating option available for, let's say, people that want to sit third row. One thing they have definitely had to ask is the people sitting in the middle row to maybe push forward a little bit because the leg room wise is really not too much. And if I were to sit it right here, I can tell you it's very, very squeezy itself. So not the best. Plus, also at the same time, you are technically sitting above the rear axle. So I think anyone heavy sitting at the back, at the third row itself, anyone sitting at the third row itself, will definitely cause some effect to the axle itself. So like probably like your car will be like pivoting at the back and it look a bit weird. Plus I think going over speed bumps itself will be an issue because you can definitely hear the frame of the car scratching the surface itself. So yeah, I definitely tried it before and I can tell you can definitely hear the frame scratching making contact with the speed bump itself. So that's not the best itself. So yeah, other than that, to put on the rear seat is quite simple itself. So basically you just need to pull this handle right here, which I showed you guys earlier on. Just pull this and the seat will go down. And if you want to have more cargo space, technically there's a lever right down below. This lever I'm not too sure where you guys can see, but if you can see my hand right here, if I were to pull this, you can raise it up just like the front seat itself. So basically you can have more space itself. But I think for the facelift one, they changed their layout. I'm not too sure whether it's still the same, but I could be wrong. But this is what it looked like for the Sienta itself. So yeah, other than that, let me just show you the front of the car itself and also the infotainment itself, and I'll show you guys my overall thoughts and summary for this car itself. So let's go. Oh yeah, and before I show you guys the front, I almost forgot to mention you got rear seat belt for the rear passenger if anyone sitting on the third row itself, and also a grab handle on the front, the middle row itself. So yeah, one there and one there itself. Other than that, that's all for the car itself. So yeah, let's dive straight to the front of the car right now. So yeah, basically now I'm in the front seat of the Toyota Sienta itself. So basically it's what it looked like for the pre-facelifted version itself. Basically you got your, I would say mainly the center console are the ones that really changed for the facelifted one itself. So yeah, this is the non-facelift one, so the interior layout is definitely different itself. So yeah, but other than that, storage space wise, you got some storage space right here. There's also more right down below here, and there is more right here if I could push it, yeah, just like that. So there's tons of space right here to put your stuff if you want to put it right there. There isn't any center console right here because I think maybe, I'm not too sure why they decided not to do a center console right here, but if you want to put your stuff, mainly just all on the passenger side, on the left side itself. So yeah, Moving on, you got your infotainment itself from Toyota itself, which is quite special. It's one thing that I think for car sharing, usually they would tend to remove the infotainment itself, but I think for truck, maybe I don't know, maybe for this car itself, decided to keep it with the what it came from the manufacturer itself. So yeah, later on I'll show you guys some unique features of this car itself. So unique features of the, maybe like show you guys a quick walkthrough of the infotainment itself. I won't really go too in depth, but I'll just show you guys the basic function of it lah. So yeah. Alright, moving on, you got your two AC vents right there. You also got a headlight switch right there, which is quite the typical headlight switch. So you press it, it'll just show the headlight right there itself. So yeah. Moving on, you got your AC control vent right here. So basically this 6 buttons and 1 knob right here is just to control AC controls, and that's all. So basically you got your fan control speed right here. This is turn off the fan. This is to recirculate the air itself. This is to turn on fully on the AC itself. This is basically just to redirect the air blowing towards you. This could be around this ear, could be the front or rear defrost itself. So yeah. Alright, moving on to the next part, which is this knob right here. So this knob right here is just basically to adjust the temperature of the air conditioning in the car itself. That's quite basic. So yeah, other than that, nothing else to talk about the car itself. So yeah. Alright, moving on, you got more space right here. There's this card slot right here, which I'm not too sure what it is for, but probably you could put a card inside there. So yeah. Alright, moving on, you got more storage space right here to put your stuff, and down here as well. So yeah, more storage space right here itself to like put your stuff if you want to put it right there itself. Alright then, moving on, you got your gear selector right here itself, which is for the non-facelifted one. Is allocated right here. For the facelifted one, which I drove previously, when I drove the Sienta for the first time, it was located right near to the steering wheel itself, which I feel is a bit better. It's a better layout, I feel, in my opinion, rather than right down below here itself. But other than that, there's one changes you can say for the non-facelift and facelifted one, non-facelift and facelift version of the Sienta itself. So yeah, moving on, you got a handbrake right here itself. So not too sure. I think for the non-facelifted one, they decided to do a regular handbrake. For the facelifted one, they decided to do a foot handbrake. So basically, the handbrake on the facelifted one will be right there itself. So basically, you just need to put your foot on the handbrake itself to release it and press it to engage it itself. So to depress, to remove, to turn off the parking brake is to press on it and you let go. To activate it is just press on it, like how you press on the brake or accelerator itself. So yeah, not too sure if you guys get what I'm trying to say. So yeah, and that's all for the controls right here on the center console itself. So yeah, moving on, you got the next part, which I'll be showing you guys now, is the steering wheel for the Sienta itself. So for the steering wheel for the Sienta, I would say that I think technically the Sienta steering wheel didn't really change for the facelifted one. It's still the same thing other than the layout, these things which I mentioned to you guys earlier on itself. Control wise is still quite simple. You got your volume controls right here. This to adjust the radio station, this to adjust the volume, and your mode switch I think is for that, which I'll show you guys later on as well. Alright then, next up we got this button looking thing right here itself. Basically this is to control the screen right on the dashboard itself. So yeah, so basically I'll show you guys that as well later once I turn on the car itself. Same for the trip button and the back button itself. So basically this button right here is just to control the screen, the small screen right there itself. So yeah, other than that, let's move on to the next part, which is you got your wiper control switch right here itself. So basically it's quite simple. For Japanese cars, usually it will always be on the left. Continental cars or Korean cars sometimes will be the other way around itself. So yeah, basically you got your wiper switch to engage it just all the way down, or one swipe for up. And to engage the rear wiper, which you guys can see just now when on the outside, is just to pull this knob right here itself. So yeah, and this is to adjust the speed of, I think this is to adjust the frequency of it. I could be wrong, but yeah. Next up we got the other side, which is you got your indicators and your light switch right here itself. So it's very simple. Indicator just up or down itself. To toggle the headlight, this switch right here itself. So yeah. To high beam is just the other way around. Flash shade is just to pull back itself. So yeah, that's all for the stocks on the car itself. Next up, let me just show you guys the other button that on this car itself. So basically you got your door controls right here itself. So basically for the door control itself, you can opt for either electronic, which you guys saw just now when I pull the door handle on outside, the door will just automatically open, or technically if I do not want the electronic doors, I can just turn off and it'll be manual doors, which I think they have to pull it manually itself. So but for the time being, I'll just leave it automatic, and to demonstrate the electronic doors for you guys, I'll be opening the left side right there, so keep look out for that. So basically if I were to press on this button itself, the doors will open. So basically that's how it looks like, and it will stop at one point. To close it is just very simple, just need to press on this. You do have to press and hold itself, so yeah. So yeah, that's how you close the doors, electronic doors for the rear itself, for the Sienta itself. So yeah. Moving on, you got more storage space right here to put your keys if you want to. And you got a cup holders on the driver's side and on the passenger side. There's one for the center itself for the passenger, the rear passenger if they want to. And that's all for cup holders. You only got 3 cup holders in this car itself, which is, I would say it's alright. I prefer maybe if there were, I would prefer if there's one more cup holders for the rear, just in case, you know, sometimes people fight over space. But I think technically you could put it right at the door right there, which I'll show you guys later on as well, before I finish up this video itself. But other than that, you got a start button right there to turn on the car itself. And you also got, alright, you got your window switches right here itself. I'm not too sure whether you guys can see that, but basically window switches right there. You got your window switch right there. This is for your lock and unlock button. This is to prevent people from rolling down the windows. This is to adjust the mirrors on the driver or passenger side itself. And last switch right here will be to prevent the people from, whether you want to turn off or turn on the electronic folding mirrors when you lock the car itself. Other than that, that's all for the car itself. Now let me just turn on the accessory part for you guys to take a look. So basically just need to press 1 for it and press it again for the electronic. So basically this is what the dash look like for the Sienta itself. For the hybrid version itself, it'll be mainly the dash on the left hand side will be different, and you'll show you guys the power and battery output itself.
Continuous recording will now start.
So yeah, basically the left will, for the hybrid one, it will show the hybrid powertrain itself and also the battery charge. For the non-hybrid, which is this one, I'm in the regular combustion one itself, it will show you guys the typical rev gauge itself. So yeah, and you got your speedo on the right hand side. So basically you can see how fast you're going if you want to. Alright then, next up I'll be showing you guys the next one, which is this screen right here. If I could get the camera to focus. So yeah, basically first up on the left hand side, you got average fuel consumption, fuel to empty, and the average speed you're going itself. Moving on, you got more power. You got a speedo right here. Next up, we got your fuel gauge to empty itself, and your temperature and your time, sorry, your current time and your temperature outside itself. So yeah, this is quite annoying. Probably I'll just turn on the engine itself. So yeah, apologize for that. Oh yeah, and this is the starting screen, how it looked like. So yeah, I think it's quite similar to the previously I drove previously itself. So yeah. Alright, next up we got your eco scores, like depending on how good you're driving. And you got your fuel consumption, your fuel economy. Basically got quite a lot of functions that you want to know about. It's all right here itself. So yeah, next up you got you got your setting for your entertainment. So this one not really, I don't think I will go through this at all because it's just quite simple itself lah. So yeah, that's all I have to say for this video, is this part right here. Now let me just show you guys the last part, which is the infotainment itself for the car itself. So basically this is quite simple. You got radio station right here. To go back, just need to press on this and you go back to the home screen, which is this right here. You got your phone if you want to connect it by Bluetooth, or I think yeah, there's this port right here which technically you could open up, but there's more function right here. So yeah, not really going to go through that much, but yeah, it's basically just touchscreen. Just if you guys want to learn more about it and technically rent this car out at the location, I'll put it right down below itself. So yeah, other than that, I don't really have much to show you guys already. So yeah, other than that, I will just end off my video right now. So now let me just move on to my overall thought and summary for this car itself. So let go. Oh yeah, sorry. Before I show you the summary itself, one thing I also want to mention is about the rear AC just now, which I talked about the rear space itself. Basically, this thing right here is what I think is for the rear AC. So for the facelifted one, they decided to remove it, and the the roof of it is much more nicer and more smooth itself. So yeah, other than that, let's move on to my overall thought and summary for this car itself. So alright then, before I share you guys my overall thought and summary for this car itself, let me just show you guys a few more features of the car which I almost forgot to share with you guys. It basically got your sun visors right here, which is quite big, and you also got this mirror right here with this strap right here, which is quite similar to other Toyota cars that you see. Now I think previously it was inverted inside, but now it's on the outside. This Sienta is on the inside, which you really can't see, but on the Yaris crossover is on the outside now. So yeah, other than that, moving on, you got this light switch right here which could turn off, or you can just press on individually, or you just turn on with the switch right on top there itself. So yeah, and that you got your to adjust the steering wheel. It's just very simple itself. Basically, there's this lever right down below here. If you guys can find it, you can actually adjust the steering wheel by pulling this lever right at the bottom itself, where my hand is. Oh yeah, almost forgot. You got your rear AC button right here, right there. So if you want to activate rear AC, you can just press on that, and this is turn off your traction control itself. Other feature of the car is the steering wheel adjustment. You got your seat adjustment, which you guys can adjust with this lever right here. If my hand can see right here, this part right here, I'm not too sure whether you can see, but my hand right here, yeah, it's basically just right down below here itself. Other features, you got your handle right here. Not too sure whether you guys can really see this, but there is this what's that? There's this lever right here on both sides right here, if you guys can see, to adjust the angle of the seat itself. But other than that, that's all for the seat itself. So yeah, that's all I say for this video itself. Now let me just share my thoughts. Alright then, let me just share guys one more thing before I end off this video itself. Basically, if you guys are wondering regarding the 7-seat for the third row option, if there isn't much space for the third row itself, technically you could adjust the second row by adjusting this lever right here, which is right here itself, and you can technically slide forward or slide backward itself. But the slide forward function, I think, not really much different in size, because if you already have the top person inside there, then there isn't really any space itself. But other than that, that's all I say for this video. Alright then, now let me just share guys my overall thought and summary for this car itself. Well, if you guys have saw my BMW 216i video from get-go itself, you guys will know that I don't really like the BMW 216i, and I keep on referring to the Sienta, because the Sienta, even though space wise, the usability wise is much better than the BMW itself, I think somehow I can say sorry, the only thing the BMW has benefit for is the third row seating, not for the comfortability wise, but it's the storage space wise. Because I think because the BMW, the seats were not that even though the seats were very thin and comfort wise not really the best, the Sienta has its downside as well for the third row seating. Even though the second row seating can be moved forward just a slight notch, I think for tall people sitting at the back won't be the best, because there isn't really much room at all. Plus, even though also the padding for the seat is quite thick, I think there isn't really much space even after you move the seat forward, so not really the best for long journey wise. So if a tall person will want to sit in the, let's say you were to go on a trip in the Sienta, I think tall person will highly recommend sitting in the middle seat or the front. But for third row seating wise, I think best is, in my opinion, I think it's best for kids, because kids sitting at the back, it won't be an issue at all, because they are too small and their legs are they are not that tall. So kids sitting at the third row seating in the Sienta itself is the best itself. Other than that, I think the drive wise for the car itself, I would say it's alright. There's nothing special about the car itself, other than I'm not too sure why for the Toyota Sienta, the one that is in this video itself, I'm not too sure why just a slight when you accelerate the car itself, there's a bit very weird is the rev itself, it would like to build up very fast, and only when you let go of the accelerator itself, then the RPM would go down. I'm not too sure why that's the case. Maybe because I have a heavy foot, and that's why technically I'm not really flooring the car to the maximum as well, so not really too sure why is that case. But overall, I think like what emphasize again, I really love the Sienta, even though it's not really for third row seating is not the best, but if you just talk about the middle row itself, I think sitting in the middle row is not a problem at all. So yeah, and that I think that's all I'll say for this video itself. I will link the BMW video at the end of this video itself, so if you just want to check out the BMW review itself, I'll put it right at the top right corner of the video itself. And also, if you just want to see more of my Tribecar review, I'll put a playlist right down at the bottom, and also don't forget to click the subscribe button down right below. See more videos like this, or click subscribe. Yeah, basically that's all I'll say for this video. So I'll just see you guys in the next video. Peace.